Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and we are going to talk about, just really quickly, the Blue Fairy deal. Now let's just start right off the bat by saying I don't think this is worth it. There's a lot of reasons why you should not pull from this banner. So let's go ahead and take a look at our banner details, and I'll tell you why I don't think it's worth pulling for it. So first of all, we're only going to have 2 days, so they're not giving you much time to decide whether or not you want to pull from this banner. So you have today, and then you have tomorrow. Now, going into the details of the deal itself, for 3,000 jewels, so for one pull from the Prime banners, for one pull from, like, another banner that could be working towards a Mercy, you're going to get 10 Blue Fairy Evolve medals, all of which will be tier 3 or higher. Now, this doesn't matter because if you play PvP, if you win against 5 different opponents, you're automatically getting 2 bronze tickets, and I believe it's one of the 5 medals that you get from the bronze ticket is going to be a tier 3. It's not guaranteed, but it's very likely that it will be. So people that get those 2 bronze tickets, again, for free, all they had to do is defeat 5 opponents in PvP, are going to get roughly 2 to 4 tier 3 Blue Fairy medals. So I don't know why they included the tier 3s in there. They really should have just done tier 4s and higher, maybe even tier 5s and higher, and that would be worth pulling for. But to include tier 3s is kind of like almost insulting to an extent. Moving on, out of those 10 medals, you are guaranteed to receive 1 Tier 5 Blue Fairy Evolve medal. Now, like I said in the Prime Illustrated Roxas banner, Tier 5s are starting to not be good. Tier 5 Blue medals, or Blue Fairy medals, are starting to not be good because we can get Tier 5, 7-star, max guild, already skill-attached medals from the banners that we can pull for, like the Prime Roxas and Xion banner. We had it for the Prime Illustrated Roxas banner. So the fact that you're only going to get 1 tier 5 Blue Fairy guaranteed, whereas the rest can be like tier 4, tier 3 Blue Fairies, that's a pretty far cry from making it worth it, especially knowing what's available right now. So for 3,000 jewels, again, tier 3s, not good. Tier 5s, 1 only guaranteed, not good. And then you have to pull 10 times to get 1 copy of a tier 8 Blue Fairy. Just 1 copy and 10 pulls for it, that's 30,000 jewels. That is 2 max guild, fully traded Prime medals right there. And that's just not worth it. And if you pull that tier 8 Blue Fairy a little bit early, like let's say you decided to pull and you got it on the 3rd pull, it resets the counter, so you got to pull 10 more times in order to get that Mercy tier 8 Blue Fairy. And then you can only pull 10 times a day. So, you know, all things considered, if you have to, you know, you're super unlucky, you don't get that tier 8 Blue Fairy until the very end, you're pulling 10 times, which is your total 10 times a day to get 1 tier 8 Blue Fairy, which doesn't even take you a quarter of the way to making a 7-star tier 8 medal. So that's already a lot of things wrong with it. Now, to be fair, I gave the game a chance. I said I'll wait till I see the banner, until I see the draw odds, because the draw odds are what really matter when it comes to pulling from banners. And then, to my despair, I found this. So, for the relevant Blue Fairies, which are going to be the tier 6, tier 7, tier 8, that's only an 11% chance. A little bit above 11%, but it's still not good. Because I would have been okay with them removing that tier 3 Blue Fairy at the bottom, and then having like the silver ticket draw odds. I would have been okay with that. And I would have said, yeah, maybe it's worth pulling just once or twice if they had that draw odd, but it's just not 11% chance. That's not very good. That's essentially like 1 every 10 people is gonna get like one of these guys, and that's just not a good percent ratio. Like, you could easily end up with a pull that was just all tier 3 Blue Fairies, and then you're out 3,000 jewels for something you could have gotten for free. So the draw odds really could have saved it, but unfortunately they didn't. So in my sort of bitterness of this banner, I created a new segment of this channel. So I'm going to make the screen white, and then we are going to introduce this new segment, which is going to be other things you could buy for the price of 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals. So let's say you had to mercy those 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals. You had to do the 10 pulls a day at 3,000 jewels a pull, making it 60,000 jewels in order to get 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals, which doesn't even take you halfway to making a tier 8 7-star medal. Let's say you had, like, again, the worst luck and you had to get all of it, had to pull all 10 in order to get those 2 tier 8 blue fairies. What does that mean? So that's 60k jewels, and it's 14,700 jewels for $100, meaning 2 tier 8 blue fairies is going to cost you $408 for 2 tier 8 blue fairies. Not even for a tier 8 7-star medal, but progress towards tier 8 7-star medal. And if you have no means of getting more tier 8 7-star medals, if you have no way of getting more tier 8 blue fairy medals, you're out of luck. If you spend that $408 and you can't get any more tier 8 blue fairy medals, you're just stuck with things you can't use. So I made this quick segment so we could talk about other things you could buy instead of using $408 on jewels to get 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals. So let's say, you know, everyone always talks about it. This is always the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to other things you could buy. A new PlayStation 4. So for $300, you get a new PlayStation 4, and then you could buy a controller, and then you can buy a game. You could buy Kingdom Hearts 1.2 and 2.5, and then that's already $408. You have 4 Kingdom Hearts games, 2 Kingdom Hearts movies, you have 2 controllers just in case you and a buddy play some sort of game together, and that's the price of 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals. Now let's say you already have a PlayStation 4, but you wanted to upgrade to something a little bit better, you know? Okay, you have a new PlayStation 4, what can you get above that? You can get, let's move this above here, you can get a new 49-inch 4K TV to pair with your already owned PlayStation 4. So you have the PlayStation 4, but you can get a 4K TV for less than the price of those 2 tier 8 blue fairies, and now you've got a PlayStation 4 and a 4K TV. So let's say you've already got a 4K TV. What else can you get in order to, you know, pretty much make it, let me convince you more that you should not pull for this banner. So what else can you get? You've already got the PlayStation 4, you've already got the 4K TV. Well, let's just say you need something to watch, you know, it's kind of a rainy day, and you're like, oh, what can I watch in order to make this rainy day turn into a happy day? In order to make this rainy day seem not so bad. And what you can get, boom, you, for some reason, can get 15 new copies. Let's make this fit on the screen here. You could get 15 new copies of the complete Toy Story collection from Amazon, which for some reason, if you wanted to just buy one for yourself and then 14 for some friends, or you wanted to raffle it off for whatever reason, you can get 15 new copies of this bad boy. So again, for 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals, you can get 15 copies, which will have Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. And that is just 15 copies of that? That's crazy. Okay, so you've got the PlayStation 4, you've got the 4K TV, let's say you already own all the Toy Story movies, so what else could you get that could potentially make you stray even further away from wanting to pull from this blue fairy deal? What you could get with that $408, you could get, approximately 1,632 chicken nuggets from McDonald's. So let me go ahead and move this up to the top so you can see here. So I just looked it up on Google. Hang on, let's move this down here. I looked it up on Google, and you could, so 20 chicken nuggets is going to be $5, and you could, with the money it takes you to get 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals, you could get 1,632 32 chicken nuggets for whatever reason. You and like 100 other friends could attempt to eat 1,632 chicken nuggets. You could have like, I don't even know how many chicken nuggets a year that is. Like if you spread it out, like you can get a lot of just chicken nuggets from McDonald's instead of buying 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals. So that's just my little spiel about other things you could buy instead of paying for the 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals at Mercy. And if that can't convince you to not buy this deal, if 1,632 chicken nuggets is less worth it than 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals, I don't know what else could possibly convince anybody. So with that being said, again, don't pull from this banner. I don't advise it. Maybe if you want to do one pull just for the memes, then by all means do it, but I don't think it's worth pulling from this because your chances of getting something are just something good are just really low, and you could be using those jewels for better things. You could be using them for avatar boards that come with guaranteed good skills. You could use them for a prime deal that gives you 1 6-star copy of the medal that will still come with a lot of great utility. So there's just a lot of better things you can do with the jewels, a lot better things you could do with the money, and always remember that in the back of your mind, 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals is gonna cost you 1,632 chicken nuggets from McDonald's. So with that being said, that is the end of this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this very weird take on how you should view these blue fairy deals, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoyed my comparison of 2 tier 8 blue fairy medals to chicken nuggets. And that's it for now. As always, everyone, until the next video, take it easy.